Yep.
All right. Welcome to today's episode of the Rexburg Hustle. We are in season 2 already.
We are season 2.
Season 2. Today is the first round of season 2. We're really excited. We've got a great show for you today, and we want to introduce our guest today. But first, Rick, talk about our book.
Yeah, guys, just a reminder, season 1 is finished. So we finished season 1 a few weeks ago. We've taken a few weeks off. We're back here for season 2. But the season 1, which is going to be volume 1 of our book, is going to be out hopefully soon. All the transcriptions are done. They are being slowly released to the guests. We need to speed that up a little bit, but they're being released to the guests. They are composing their own chapters. There'll be 20 chapters in volume 1. We're super excited. Probably within the next month or so, this book should be out and should be published.
So again,
we're really excited about
this
that.
is the untold stories of the Rexburg Hustle. As we have guests come on to the show, they tell the stories, but there's always the details that don't have time to be explained. So these books, as they come out, will have the rest of the story, which will be really exciting.
Yep.
We're excited for that.
Yep.
Well, we have a great show for you today. We want to introduce Abby and Travis Brown. Now, this is interesting to me because I'm Travis Green. That's Travis Brown.
Right.
Maybe together it makes turquoise. I don't know. Something.
I don't know if it'd be turquoise, but
something. But
I'm going to go on Photoshop afterwards and mix those two colors.
We'll see what happens.
Maybe make you guys some cute T-shirts.
That's-
that go
yeah,
along,
That would
right?
get some turquoise tie-dyed anyway. Well, Abby and Travis, they are with the Rexburg Farmers Market, and they're going to talk about how it came about and the story behind it. We're excited to have them. This is happening right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it goes through September, the end of September, right?
End of September.
Well, tell us more. Tell us more about how you got into this, what brought you to the table, and just share with us how you got involved with the Rexburg Farmers Market.
So, us personally, it was 4 years ago. I had a girlfriend of mine who sold bath salts and some different things, and I kind of just it forced my way in. I was like, hey, let's be booth partners, and we did, and it started off with that, and we were there for a couple of years just as vendors. And then back in 2017, the previous manager, Lisa, she contacted us and said hey, I'm looking to step down. Is there anybody who would be, and she said I like your guys' energy. Would you be interested in stepping up as managers? And I think we were crazy enough at the time to say yes. I mean, I didn't even.
Little did you know what you were getting into, right?
Well, and I was pregnant at the time, and we didn't know. So we just, I don't know. That's just how we roll.
Yeah,
but
we just took the opportunity, and we're grateful for it.
yeah, so that's how we got involved with the market. And so this is our 4th year as vendors, and then our 2nd year as managers. But the farmers market came about. This is our 11th year. About 11 years ago, we had some different people who just said hey, we've noticed that we've got some really great local farmers and some different artisans, and there just kind of seemed to be this need. And Lisa Jones stepped up and she said, let's do this. And so she contacted some different farmers she knew, and they set up a committee, and they started this little farmers market. And it just kind of has built from there.
So you said 11 years. It's been around for 11 years.
Yes.
How long have you been attached to it?
So we personally have been attached for 4 years.
For 4 years. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Great. Well, and it's grown and developed, and it's become a bigger thing
Yes.
over the years, right?
Yeah.
We've moved locations a couple times, but the community still keeps coming out.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have some people who have been coming every year for the last 10 years. We have some really great community members who every summer they come and buy their produce from, it's Ashland Produce or Mashcraft Farm, but they come religiously every single week, and they have for all of 11 years, and they can tell you these great stories from back when we were in front of the tabernacle, and they just been
The old timers.
Yes, super dedicated, lovely, loyal people.
Yeah.
So
that's before we were there.
yeah, so
So I want to rewind just a little bit before you guys were managers, and I want to talk a little bit about your business. You said you kind of shoved your way in.
Yes.
Okay, so I'd like to know a little bit more about that.
Okay, so like I said, I had this friend of mine, and she made these really pretty soaps and bath salts. And at the time, so I crochet because I guess I am in love with 80-year-old women things, and it's fine. And my husband at one point was just we have so many hats. No human being needs this many hats.
Right.
And so I started kind of crocheting, and it started off as that, and then she ended up leaving halfway through the season for her family to have an internship down in Utah, and so I just kind of took over the booth. And then the following year we started branching out, and I am weirdly obsessed with candles, and So it kind of took a little bit of a turn, and we tried to find like our niche, and it worked a little differently. And so then we ended up somehow not fully understanding, but we kind of settled on this. It's an all natural handmade cosmetic line, self-care items. So
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Great.
so things like mud masks, toners, candles, just
Yeah, foundations, blush.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow.
yeah. So
And you make it all yourself?
we
Yeah.
do. I do.
Well, I don't.
Right.
She does,
he
yeah.
supports. He is there
Good.
for me.
Hey, every
Yeah.
every good company needs somebody to cheer the
Absolutely.
the person making it on,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
Well,
so-
good. And then you guys still have that booth, right?
Yes.
You
Yeah.
guys still run that company?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Happy
Okay.
and Hazel.
Okay.
Yeah, so we are there every week. Like,
Yeah.
we don't exist during the summer except for in Rexburg, which is fine.
Yep.
But yeah, so we're there every week, and then we actually run the management booth out of our tent as well, just
Okay.
because it worked better for us that way. So, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the growth of the farmers market over the years, because, like we said, it used to be by the Tabernacle. Then it moved to where Ace Hardware now is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the
Then
big
it got
parking
moved to
lot.
college again.
Yes.
And when it moved to college, it kind of people just forgot about it. The numbers
Yeah.
started going down. Is that right?
Yeah, so we're not entirely sure kind of what happened. I think that it just was people, because we moved and we were in a different location, and I don't know if it was like advertising or we're not entirely sure what, because this was a little bit before our time being involved, but our numbers just like slowly got a little slower, and we couldn't figure out why. And I think at one point a couple years ago during the 7-week break, I think our worst week, we had 7 vendors on that street.
Oh, wow.
Teeny tiny. And we were like,
Wow.
okay, so
Yeah.
how do we obviously try and find some different things? And we realized that there was this really great untapped market in social media, particularly in Rexburg, because
Yeah.
we do have this college and people are really supportive. The students try and be involved as much as possible. So when we took over as managers, there's another guy on the committee. His name is Bryce Johnson, and we just started working and starting to make some social media platforms and started posting regularly. And then the following year, we shot up to, I think, like almost 40 vendors throughout the
good.
season.
Wow.
So yeah, so it took, I mean, like we doubled in one year, and then this year we just have continued to grow. But we work really hard on making sure that people in the community know about us, just because, I mean, I think we're this really great, like, best kept secret of Rexburg.
It is.
I agree.
It
yeah.
is. It really is. There's such unique things there. How far do people travel? Or is it just the Rexburg community that have booths there?
So we have people travel. There is this really great father-son owned ranch, and they actually live in Driggs.
Yeah.
Yeah, Crowfoot J Meats. And they started in Driggs, and they've done the Driggs market for a long time. And we have some of our vendors who also go to the Driggs market, and they were like, hey, we know you've got the Rexburg one, and they started being interested. So they travel all the way from Driggs to come here.
Great. Wow.
And so, they start their morning. The Driggs has their farmers market Friday morning, so they do that one first, and then they drive all the way to Rexburg for our evening one on Friday night. And then we have people who come from Idaho Falls as well.
That's great.
Some of our smaller, like our micro farms, are from St. Anthony and Sugar area. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Would that be like Ashcrafts and those people? Or
Those
they...
people, there's another
Okay.
one called Roots and Grow Farm.
Okay.
They're newer this year. They're just a little tiny family. Oh, I shouldn't say tiny. They're actually a pretty good sized little farm, but they're a family owned farm, husband and wife, nicest couple. And there's another one, Black Bear Family Farms.
They're out of St. Anthony.
They're out of St. Anthony
Okay.
as well.
Great.
And they do really great homemade jams, banana bread, their produce, and they just they come to Rexburg every week, and they just were trying to test the water, and
Nice.
it's been working so
great.
far. We love having them.
Yeah. Lucky 7 Farms, they're out of Roberts, Idaho. So
Okay.
we've got
Yeah.
people from the other end too. So
Wow.
yeah, it's awesome.
So it's quite a few people from a lot of miles traveled for people to
Yes.
get and
You're
set
right.
up and,
Right.
and
Right.
things like that.
And we try and make it so that it's worthwhile to people. Obviously,
Yeah.
this year with the bigger numbers, we're like, hey, come see us.
Yeah.
Be supported, be, involved in the community. So.
Now, I assume you're still looking for more? The more the merrier? Or do you have a kind of a cap on what you like to see?
The limit as far as vendors go really is just based on the restriction of how much room we have on the street.
Right.
And so, especially, we're always willing to let people apply and let them come in as long as we've got a space available, we'll let them set up.
Yeah.
That's great.
So
Within reason, obviously. So farmers markets, we try not to do like third-party vendors. So people who do like doTERRA, Mary Kay, they're great companies. Like nothing against them, but as a farmers market, we try to do more like handmade items.
Yeah.
And we do once a year allow them. We just actually last week had that big summer vendor fair. So anybody who does sell those third-party people are allowed to come in and be involved. But Yeah, it really is. We try and do only 3 of a kind. So if we have like a soap vendor, we only have like
That's
maybe
cool.
3
I
soap
was gonna
vendors.
ask that, yeah.
Yeah. Just to try and like not flood the market with too much.
Yep.
And so
And keep good variety at the market too, because
Right.
people don't want to walk down and see a lot of the same.
They don't
thing.
want
Yeah.
30
Right.
vendors of fudge.
Right.
right. I
So-
mean, some
Although-
people,
I would love
Yeah.
that.
but
May not be a bad thing.
right. And so right now, especially during the 7-week break, we've had some vendors for different family obligations that were unable to continue doing the season. So we have a couple open spots. So yeah, we've had people who submit applications even just this last week.
That's great.
And if they are willing to come and be involved, we can try and get them in when we have space. So
Does the farmer's market happen rain, snow, shine?
Oh, yes.
How does that
Pretty
work?
much. Yeah.
literally
Just
snow.
the hardcore farmer market people or the newcomers, if it's cloudy and rainy, are they going, oh, I guess we can't go this week? Or is it happening no matter
It
what?
happens. Like
yeah.
we are there. I think in all the years we've done the farmers market, I've seen it canceled twice.
Oh, wow.
This last year we had one day where it was so windy that we sell candles. Like I said, they're these really big wax teacup candles, and the wind was so bad it was flying them off the shelf.
Yeah.
Like it was
Yeah.
bad.
Tents don't stay up.
Right. And then, it's like a safety
Yeah.
issue. And then
Yeah.
sometimes if it rains too badly and then like we get a little flooded out, especially with the electricity.
Problem, water, electricity.
Right.
Yeah,
those two
yeah.
don't mix very well.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but I think for the most part, like this year, winter was a long one. And even with the snow and the hail, we were out there all freezing. Some vendors get little propane heaters and they just kind of huddle.
That's great.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
Oh,
we're setting up and just going forward. We have lots of people who are asking, "Hey, are we?" Nope, we're still here. Set up.
still
Let's
going.
go. We're going. Let's do it.
Yeah.
So what should people expect? So in case there's anybody in the community who has not been to the farmer's market, what should they expect going to the farmer's market?
What don't they expect? We honestly kind of have everything.
Kind of
so
everything?
Yeah.
Right. So if you're really into like hot foods, we have some really great people like the World's Best Corn Dog. They come and bring their trailer.
Oh, cool.
We have this company called Big Papa's Fries, and they make these gourmet crazy fries with every seasoning you could possibly think of.
Wow.
We have a really great little taco truck, La Mexicana. They do, some of the best tamales. Like they sell it almost every week. They're insane. So if you're into hot foods, we've got.
Travis is not a Mexican
I don't
food
do
guy,
spicy, but
I
he
can live
does.
on that.
Okay,
Oh, I can
but
live
for
on it.
non-spicy, like if you like a foot-long corn dog, literally a foot long
There
on a
you go.
chopstick, we
That'll
got
work.
you.
So it's a great place to come for a Friday
Yeah.
night date night, or
Yeah.
a great place to come to pick up some extra groceries from the farmers.
Yeah.
And you're open till 8. 4 to 8?
4 to 8
Yes.
on Friday evenings.
4 to 8 on Friday evening.
Yes.
Okay.
So
Great.
it's like a little abnormal, I guess. Some people are like, oh, farmers markets Saturday mornings, but honestly, like it just kind of works best for a lot of our vendors to do the Idaho Falls and the Driggs market, so
Yeah.
we can
Yeah.
kind of squeeze it in. But we have people, like I said, Friday nights, date night around here. They
Great,
come, they can
yeah.
get their groceries. Our produce vendors right now are just like bursting at the seams with some of the most beautiful produce.
Wow.
So they come, they get like whatever their artisan needs are. You want to come and get some really great soap, and then you want to pick up your dozen carrots or whatever, and then you grab a corn dog on your way out. Like we've got you.
And they set their prices. They do their thing, right?
Right.
You don't have any say in that. They just set up and do what they need to do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we
Okay.
try and help. So, we don't really encourage vendors to kind of undercut. So if somebody's
Yeah.
coming along, we have a couple people who sell eggs. If somebody's like, oh, mine are $1 a dozen while everybody else's are $5, we're like, hey,
Yeah.
let's
Yeah.
try and be polite.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Yeah, and normally it's you can make more money if you raise your price a little bit because people are
Right.
still buying.
Yeah.
and we try to be reasonable.
Right.
And for the most part, they're premium products, right?
Oh, they
They're
are,
not
yeah.
handmade. I mean, my wife has brought home soaps and shave bars and
Oh, yeah.
and the fudge, of course.
But so much fudge.
But it's good stuff.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
not just like your whatever your ocean
Walmart
not
special.
oceans. Yeah,
No.
exactly.
It's not at
No.
all. No, this is all handmade. Like the stuff that we make is all small batches. You
Yeah.
know, a lot of the ingredients are all organic. Like it's great quality product.
And a lot of our farmers, even they're small enough farms that they can't necessarily get the organic label,
Right.
but they use as limited pesticides as possible. So a couple weeks ago it was National Watermelon Week or National Watermelon Day. So the market gave out free slices of watermelon to anyone who came.
Cool.
And the watermelon was, just dripping down, beautiful.
Yum. Wow.
So powerful with these flavors, but it's because we're able to get them from small, wonderful little places. Or our huckleberries are usually picked by people locally, so they're small things. So things are just a way better quality. Everything is just.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of a farmer's market is that
Right.
we
Awesome.
can have
Yeah.
those wonderful things that are just more quality controlled, I guess.
Love it. I love it.
Now, if we could, we're already halfway through the show, which is crazy to me.
I tried to tell
No, it's
you.
great. No,
It's
it just the 30 minutes always seems to fly by. But in the pre-show, we had kind of an unexpected just
insight.
a little insight about something that's happened in your guys' life.
Yeah.
Something pretty unexpected.
Yeah.
Something that has definitely changed your guys' life.
But
Yeah.
yet has blessed your life.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. We'd like to talk a little bit about Adeline, if that's okay.
Of course.
Your daughter.
Yeah.
Your 15-month-old daughter.
Yes.
Why don't you guys kind of give us the background? You're just about to start a farmer's market. She was born. Complications. I'll let you guys take the story over.
Yeah, okay. So, 2017, towards the end of the season, like I said, Lisa Jones approached us and said, like, hey, like your energy, you want to take over? Didn't know I was pregnant. I said, heck yeah, let's do this. And
Found out we were pregnant shortly after.
yeah,
but-
like a couple of days usually after, and I was like, no, like I can do it all.
Yeah, we
like,
can do it
yeah,
both. for
yeah,
sure.
Joanna Gaines does it. I can do it too. It's fine. So things kind of went along, and typical like morning sickness, everything was more or less fine. And then January of 2018, we went in for what we thought was a routine ultrasound just here at Seasons. And when they were noticing some different complications, they actually put us in a room for about 45 minutes, and both Travis and I were like,
What's going on?
this isn't quite normal. And they just said like, hey, we've noticed some severe abnormalities. We don't even know if this child will be able to survive outside of the womb. It was a Friday afternoon. They said there's a specialist in Idaho Falls we're going to refer you to, but we can't really do anything more for you here. So we left, obviously a hot mess is like the nicest way we can put it. And we did a couple of different things, some testing, but they really couldn't tell us what was going on. So we got referred to Primary Children's Hospital, more testing. They still really couldn't tell us at the time. They said, oh, it's a Dandy Walker malformation, which just means part of the cerebellum is missing. And
Yeah, she just had, according to the ultrasounds and what we knew, there were abnormalities in her brain, and we didn't know how that was going to affect her post-birth or even developmentally at all.
Or what the extent was or anything.
Right.
Like, we didn't- yeah.
Well, and we didn't even know like life expectancy or anything like that. So then she, let's see, she was born May 2nd last year, and the farmer's market started on the 9th.
Wow.
So yeah, and I mean it was obviously pretty rough. We delivered down at Ermac just because they have a little more intensive a NICU. So which no shame to Madison, great hospital. But we were down there, and I had it in my brain that I was going to be at the first farmer's market, and we were there, helping our vendors kind of get set up. And she was in the NICU at Ermac for about 6 weeks.
Yep.
And then they just said like, hey, if this was just Dandy Walker, we should have been able to take care of it, and she should have been home. We're not sure what's going on. So they recommended, the head neonatologist recommended that we transfer to Primary Children's Hospital. And crazy week, because we had literally just signed a lease on a new apartment. It was a Wednesday, and that Thursday we were out. So it was... crazy does not even begin to cover it, but we did it. And so I flew down to Utah with Adeline, and Travis stayed up in Rexburg, and he ran the market. He was there every week, and I just kind of did everything online that I could. And she was there for 101 days.
Primary Children's.
Yeah, so total our NICU
From,
stay.
from birth to home was 100
In the
days.
NICU.
Yes,
Yeah.
so just less than 4 months. And we were down there, and about 2 weeks before discharge, they were like, oh, so her blood pressure is spiking. Let's do an ultrasound. And when they were looking at some different things, they noticed some complications, and this amazing neurologist was like, hey, the high blood pressure combined with some other things I'm noticing, I want to look over some tests. And she finally got a proper diagnosis for Adeline, Joubert syndrome. It's a French term. It's pretty rare. Most people are like, we've never heard of it. Yeah, neither had we.
Right.
Yeah.
So she was just, I don't really know what else to say. She's just Adeline. She's a little bit more complicated than most. She's medically probably a little bit more high needs than the average 15-month-old.
But it doesn't slow us down.
No, but we brought her home, and she and I finished out the season for the last couple of weeks that we still had it, and she just kind of stabilized over the winter and blossomed. But we call her our market baby. We take her everywhere with us. She's there every week.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was a little crazy is probably the nicest way, and like the easiest way to put it. But it happened, and we've told everyone. A lot of people are like, well, how do you guys do it? And we tell, it's our pretty much standard answer is we don't know any other way.
Yeah.
Like this is just
Yeah, there was no option B, and this is all we know, and so this is how it goes. And we're just grateful that she's able to be here still, because there was a time where we didn't know that was going to be the case.
yeah.
Really?
That first
So-
night she was born, they resuscitated her like 4 times in the hospital. It was
my gosh.
awful. So she is doing really well now, and it was a roller coaster. It was very rough, and but we finally got some proper answers, and she's an amazing team in Primary Children's Hospital, and we see this amazing pediatrician in Idaho Falls. So we have this really great support system that's been set up for her to help her thrive in the best way she can. But it was just, like I said, unexpected, but we've I refuse to allow it to kind of dictate what she can and can't do in her life. I know a lot of people want to say that people with special needs, like, you're going to only be this one thing, and I don't think that's fair. We've seen people with Down syndrome who are able to accomplish great things in their life, and they are speaking publicly, and they are going to college and accomplishing things that once upon a time nobody thought people with special needs, right? Or cerebral palsy anymore is not even limiting people, and that's just kind of what we decided, that, Adeline is a person. She's our daughter. She happens to have Joubert. And that's just...
We're going to help her reach whatever potential she can. And she's writing her own story. Joubert syndrome, falls on a spectrum, and every case is kind of on its own. And so we can see similarities with other cases. We're definitely involved in the online community across America with other parents who have children with Joubert syndrome, and even a couple adults who have Joubert themselves. We are involved in that, and each case is kind of on its own and different, and Adeline, as far as we can tell, is thriving with that condition.
Well, she's certainly adorable. We keep looking over there because she's down there.
Yeah, sorry.
She's sitting down there. She's here. She's adorable. She's an adorable little girl.
I mean, we think so. Obviously, a little biased, but...
She is.
But yeah, so, I mean, I definitely was kind of crazy, but I think that we have never allowed it to dictate. Like, I wanted to be market manager, so we were still market managers, even though, we have Adeline, and she's just part of it now. The vendors all know her. They, they are used to seeing her coming along, even with all the equipment she comes with. So,
So you've got two bags. You showed us.
Yes.
You've got two bags. One is the mom regular diaper bag. The other one is other stuff.
Yes, everything
whatever
else.
medical needs that she may need. We just take with us for just in case and when she needs it.
Oxygen, G-tube supplies, rescue meds. Wow. I mean, we're pretty much a walking pharmacy some days, but we got you covered. Like, anytime people are like, do you have a... Yes, we
do have one of those.
We do. What do you need? So, I mean, Travis is a Boy Scout, so it just, made sense to us. We're like, always be prepared.
That's right.
So...
Well, and we commented on this in the pre-show a little bit, but for some people, this would destroy them. For some people... it would take a huge toll, but you guys are so upbeat. You're so positive. You said, Adeline's going to have a great life.
Yeah.
And we are going to make sure she has a great life.
Absolutely.
Right? How, I guess, is it just your personalities that you think have been able to maintain that positivity, or what do you attribute it to?
Let's see. Really great NICU nurses who definitely yo, you need to take care of yourself. Self-care is incredibly important with special needs parents or just people in general. But I think it was a realization. I mean, obviously when she was first diagnosed while I was pregnant, there were dark days. How do you as a parent almost feel like a walking time bomb where you're like, I'm going to give birth to this child who may not necessarily even live. While she's inside, she's alive, but if she's born, she might not be. So obviously there are dark days about that, and it just kind of dawned on Travis and I pretty quickly on that we have no control over things. So rather than wasting your energy being upset over things that are beyond your control, obviously get upset, have those feelings. It's very important. And I used to always say, have a pity party for yourself once a day. It's really good to feel sorry for yourself just a little bit, and then it's time to pick up and move forward. So and our doctors even said that all the time, do you want to come talk to other parents? And we're like, we will, but I mean, what else can you do? Your child's she's missing part of her brain. Well, I can't
Nothing
fix
you
that.
can change about
right.
it.
We can't
so,
fix that. So
and I think that that's part of it. I mean, both Travis and I, we jokingly say we have huge craters in our cheeks, some gnarly dimples, and so we've always said that God never intended us to be sad people because of that. So, I mean, I think that that's part of it, but I do think it was some growth that kind of happened, and both Travis and I just realized that life is short. And I think when you have a special needs child, that dawns on you a little bit more. And rather than allowing that to kind of dictate your life, choose to be as happy as possible. Now, obviously, people have a full range of emotions. I won't lie, we still have hard days, but other days you just kind of do what you need to do.
I think we just want to make the most of the time that Adeline is here. We don't know what the future holds, short or long term, with her, and so whatever time we have, we're going to make the most of it. This is life is amazing, and we want to live it, and giving to others, contributing, and sharing her story, sharing our story, just being is awesome.
Right. No, and obviously no criticism on any special needs parents who have things a little difficult. She is our only one. We know families who have multiple children and then a special needs child, and obviously that can be a lot more draining, but I think sometimes positivity can be a choice, and rather than focusing on all the dark days, you find your little like patches of sunlight and you focus on that instead.
Yeah.
We find the things that we're grateful for to, influence the positivity, and the positivity then follows happiness, and that's kind of the way we're
That's
doing
great
things.
advice in any aspect of
Yeah.
life.
Right.
Really.
It really is.
That is
yeah.
great. I love what you just said. I love what you just
Yeah,
said.
but you have to start by finding the things you are grateful for.
Yeah.
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 Was that hard for you guys to get to this point?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, seriously, 100%. Like I said, really great NICU nurses, and they, unfortunately, the divorce rate for most special needs parents is like 60 to 70% is what we've been told.
Really?
It's complicated.
I did not know
Yeah,
that.
it's high. And then the divorce rate in general anymore is 50%. So,
Yeah.
like, we didn't exactly have the odds in our favor. So we
Right.
had a NICU nurse that said, hey, find a good therapist, couples counselor, talk through some of these complex things
Yeah,
because it's a
for
lot. And so Travis and I started going to marriage counseling, which for some reason there's a lot of shame, like this horrible stigma associated with it. But I realized that I wanted to stay married, and he did too. And so we realized this is what
Taking
we
the
needed
right
to do.
steps.
Right. So, I mean, yeah, it was hard to get to that point. But
I mean, the NICU stay is a trauma. Like,
Oh, yeah.
And we've had to deal with that.
yeah. And like I said, I mean, it really started. I had this NICU nurse who was pretty sure she was like an angel, just kind of like on earth. Most NICU nurses are, but she kind of kicked me in the butt. She's like, go on a date with your husband, talk about this stuff. They have couples counseling for like that you can get in the hospital for big primary children's hospital particularly.
Yeah.
They have counseling sessions that parents are able to access for free.
Wow.
So that you can kind of start working through this stuff. And
Yeah.
it just was important to us. And that's, I mean, when you have something that you realize is important, you make it a priority regardless.
Yep.
And that became a priority for us.
And I really think it just came down to, like, we talked about it. Like, we had these feelings, good, bad, or in between. You need to talk about it with the person you're in the situation with, and with someone you trust for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you have to talk about things, and that really just let off a lot of the weight and the darkness that we felt when we were kind of first shoved into all this.
Yeah, that's a good.
I love to hear your success story. Not that you were broken, but you had challenges.
Oh no,
And-
we were broken.
Well, and, let me, and maybe let's say that. I mean, yeah, you were emotionally drained. You were broken. You were scared. You were fearful. You were frustrated. You were all these things, exhausted. But yet here you are, taking what you've been given and just making it the best it can be. We only have a couple minutes. Is there anything you would share with the audience going through, let's say, any challenge, whether it's a special needs child or something else? You've been through some challenges. You've been through the counseling. Is there any one or two points that you have found to be exclusively powerful to help you guys get through it?
I think, like I said, one of the big things is life sometimes can be really dark, and rather than focusing on that, because there's not going to always be months of like sunshine in your life. Instead, sometimes we have little breaks throughout the day, so find those little breaks, focus on those brief moments of positivity, and like Trav said, if you try and focus on the positive, then usually gratitude follows. And whether you're religious or not, I think that there's just that sense of peace that kind of comes with it. And I mean, at least for us, and like I said, throw a pity party for yourself. It's okay to do that. Like feeling that full range of emotions is how you learn to focus on the positive rather than just like trying to pretend everything's fine.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know. Do you?
I just go back to finding gratitude. Like,
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of things. Like if you slow down, take a moment of mindfulness and find something that you are grateful for. Just start with one thing and be grateful for that, and that will shed a little bit of light. And gratitude is a real eye opener to how the world really is. There's a lot in this world that we see is, turn on the news for a minute, but
Or don't.
but if you can pull your mind back down to your own life and what you're grateful for, that brings a change for me, anyways.
Yeah.
So what I'm hearing you say in a nutshell, there's probably three main ingredients to what I'm hearing you say. One is take a little time for yourself, recharge.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
absolutely.
The other thing is it's okay to break down and have a pity party and say, okay, for this moment, I'm gonna let this out. I'm gonna deal with how I'm feeling, not suppress it and stuff it inside. I'm gonna let it come out.
Let it out.
I'm gonna let it out. Whew. And then you're gonna show gratitude.
Yeah.
And you pick up and you move forward.
Love it.
And that's
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
great.
And
Well-
do it with somebody. Like, you're not alone. Don't be alone. Like
Yeah.
there is somebody else feeling the same way that you were feeling now. Talk about it.
Yeah.
I love your attitude. I love what you've taught us. I love your beautiful little daughter and how she's blessed your life. We're thankful for your work in the Rexburg Farmers Market. Anything else you'd like to share with the audience before time's up?
I mean, come down and see us. Like,
Yeah.
honestly, the market is there every Friday, rain or shine. Like, we love to see members of the community, whether it's just like them stopping by. You don't even have to buy anything. We're just happy to see community members stop by. So we love seeing people. And
if people want to become a vendor there, how do they get a hold of you?
so the RexburgFarmersMarket.org.
RexburgFarmersMarket.org.
Yes,
Okay.
it says like new vendor application, and it'll take you to a website. You fill that all out, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, if you can contact us via social media or email, like we will help you throughout the whole process
Yeah.
if you want to be involved.
Or people come and see us at the market all the time. They're like, I want to be a vendor. I'm like, let me take care of you. Like, we will happily do that. So
Excellent.
Well, guys, thank you so much. I appreciate
course.
you guys being raw, being vulnerable, being just real with everybody.
Yeah.
You know, I think a lot of times we just try and hide the things we're going through, but I appreciate you guys not, because that's really what helps everybody else is just, hey, we're all in this together. We're all in life together. Life's not easy. We're all going to have our trials. We're all going to have our ups and downs. So thank you guys for sharing those with us.
yeah, I mean, like we said in the pre-show, we firmly believe in community, whether it's like an emotional support or, even a farmer's market.
Yeah.
So
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much. We really
Absolutely.
appreciate you being on.
thanks for having
Yeah,
us.
thanks for having us. We're glad to
Yeah,
be
you
here.
bet. Guys, make sure to join us next week for season 2 of episode 2. It is one of 2 shows. I can't remember. I'm not going to say which one it is because there's 2 people lined up for the next 2 shows. I can't remember who goes first. So anyway, guys, but we'll be back here next Wednesday at 1 o'clock. Thank you so much for tuning in today. We'll see you guys next week.
Thank you guys.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right.